in, everybody, to the PHNX Suns post-game show. I'm Lindsay, that's Gerald, that's Espo, and we got a dub to celebrate. That's right, we got sexy sacks because in game one of the preseason, the Phoenix Suns took down the Los Angeles Lakers 118-114. I don't care if it's preseason, we're going to celebrate because any day that you can beat LA is a great day here in Phoenix. You guys feeling good?
I feel fantastic. I got my co-host back.
Yay!
Smash the like for our co-host being back on the show. We'd love to see it.
For now.
For now.
There it goes. There it goes.
Oh, here we
Espo's
go.
back in mid-season form.
He's already here. Where'd he go? Get back up here.
Welcome in, everybody, to the PHNX Suns post-game show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Wait, you didn't think the logos all over the place were enough to...
I couldn't
No,
tell.
I had to make sure that you could hear it too. You know what I'm saying? What if you're just listening and not watching?
That's fair enough.
Fair enough. Exactly. All right, guys, we got a 118-114 win over the Lakers in the Suns' first preseason game. Just initial, first thoughts or first feelings more than anything. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing when I watch preseason games is not to look at results, but instead to look at process. And I know a lot of people were kind of freaking out in the first half, and the result of the game doesn't really matter because what I saw in terms of the different things that they were doing out there was encouraging to me in terms of the imprint that Mike Budenholzer is already leaving on this team. And it wasn't perfect at times at all, but this is the first game with a lot of new guys, a lot of rookies getting minutes, a new head coach. But the difference in their execution and what they were trying to accomplish on the offensive end was encouraging to me.
Look, Gerald, I think you're completely wrong. It's all about the win. They got the dub. They did the things that were... No, of course, it's about the process in the first preseason game, but what you saw was exactly what you had asked for. You know, it was an increased volume from beyond the arc. It was sharing the basketball. It was seeing some things from Josh Okogie and rookies. You got a little of everything that you hoped for in game one. And yeah, of course, early on, it's going to be a little sloppy because it's the first time you're playing in the system against an opponent in live action, a team in the Lakers who had already played a game against the Timberwolves, who were, learning a system themselves, but you got LeBron James. That's pretty much your system.
Right.
Well, and yeah, I mean, you got to get a little bit of time to ease into things. You have a lot of returning players on this Sun squad, but you also have a lot of new faces as well. And then you were down a body tonight too, in your starting unit with Jusuf Nurkic being out with that left middle finger issue that he's dealing with. Hopefully we see him back sooner rather than later. But I think the biggest thing for me is that even when we were losing throughout this game, or when things were just a little or when you look at things, you're like, okay, that probably needs to be cleaned up at some point soon. I didn't even really care to worry about it just yet.
No.
And I think that was really encouraging because last season, the way it ended, it was like every little thing we were trying to nitpick because it just felt like we kind of had to. So I feel like we're in a really good spot starting this year. Like we've been cleansed.
Yes.
New season, new us, right?
Yes.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Do you guys remember a team called the Adelaide 36ers?
I
we
do.
We say the result doesn't matter.
I do.
Unless you're playing a team from Australia. Look, this was good vibes. It felt like a carryover from media day and everything we heard in training camp, that this team feels lighter, metaphorically. Some guys actually, other guys not so much.
Not Grayson.
Grayson.
But that this team feels lighter, that they're having a little bit more fun. And you could kind of feel that in multiple ways, including when a guy got ejected from the arena and we got already some of the best memes of the season, one preseason game.
Honestly, yes. Listen, we got a comment in the chat that said, I want to see the video of the fan that got tossed. Got a great new KD meme already. So somebody did tweet out a video. I saw it on my timeline. Well, not of the actual, what he did,
right,
but him getting tossed, and he was fighting it the whole way out, which was kind of hilarious to see. But apparently they said he was trying to shoot the ball from behind the basket or something, and then LeBron kind of joked that he should be tossed, and then they sort of took it seriously, and then he was really upset.
So, what you're saying is Lakers fans in midseason form, they're already being... I can't say that word anymore, thanks to our Samsung overlord.
It's okay.
Yeah, they're just being a little cheeky.
little cheeky.
Yeah,
Can't even get through a full preseason game without getting tossed. That's
bunch
rough.
of aces,
A bunch of aces.
That's
yes.
rough.
So there you go. All right, guys. Are we ready to dive into some of the things that we saw tonight?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll start by taking a peek at what's inside the box, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes.
Oh, what's in the box? I figured we didn't have the sounder. So. Oh, okay.
Eric was ready.
I did. I want it on the record. I played the sounder.
Oh, boy. Well, we've got a 118-114 win over the Lakers. Field goals, the Suns actually shot a worse percentage, but the difference is they shot better from three. They got up 39 attempts, made 16 of them, which is about 41%. The Lakers were 11 for 40, only about 28%. The turnovers, that's something we're going to want to see come down. The Suns committed 18, the Lakers committed 17. But for all the talk about the Suns being undersized, they actually did out-rebound the Lakers 50-49. The points in the paint, the defense, we've discussed this in the past, but with a bigger or a smaller lineup, they're going to need to be better on the defensive end. You could tell defensively there's some things that they're going to need to work on. Lakers outscored them 60-50 in points in the paint.
Yeah, but I mean, again, size in particular tonight without
size.
Nurk. I mean, losing points in the paint isn't surprising to me. And turnovers is not something I'm going to read into in the preseason. Where
You're not?
Even
No.
Tyus had one.
Yeah,
So it's preseason.
Well, about one is allowed for Tyus. One, makes sense. But you look at it, and you're playing Frankenstein lineups in a lot of cases too. So I'm not going to read anything into turnovers in the preseason unless they treat the final game as a dress rehearsal, which I don't think they necessarily will. So I'm not going to read into that. But overall, I was encouraged by a lot of what I saw tonight. I mean, we look at their ability to shoot from deep. They were not afraid tonight in any way, shape, or form. We saw guys that we were hoping to shine do exactly that. And Oso Ighodaro and my boy Frank Kaminsky. I'm just gonna throw him in there now. But a lot to be excited about for this season.
Let's dive a little bit into those threes. That's like the topic of the last year and a half for us. It feels like shoot more threes, please and thank you. Thank you, Phoenix Suns, for shooting more threes tonight. If there's one thing that we can take away from this preseason game, and hopefully it continues, is that Coach Bud must have really gotten through to these guys because they averaged 32.6 threes. 0.6 threes a game last season. They finished with 39 threes tonight. Yeah, and at halftime, they had 21.
See, they slacked off in the second half.
They did
18
a
is not
little
enough.
bit.
You didn't hit that 40 number. I'm not happy.
Those darn bench guys.
Yeah. Come on. They should have just shot one right at the end just to get to 40.
But I think it's just, top to bottom, right? The first half, you got to see the starters. You didn't get to see, some of them. You didn't get to see it in the second half as much. But every single guy that we saw come through this, it seems like they were on board with this motto of shooting more threes.
Yes, and it's good to see that, you look at Book's shot attempts. He took 12 shots in 14 minutes. Half of them were threes that he got up, and he hit 3 of the 6. So we want to see that same aggression, because it's one thing to say we want to take more threes and drill it into your mentality. It's another thing to have the offense to be able to generate those threes and to have a star who's willing to pull up at any given moment. His first 3, he just caught it, launched it, didn't even think about it, despite there being a contest in his face. That's what we want to see. And there were a couple of instances where Brad pump faked and thought about it and then tried to drive, shoot that ball. Kevin Durant, he pump faked, dribbled into a midi a couple of times, just shoot the 3. So these are things that it's going to take some time, because these guys, these habits don't just die easily. But even if you take 1 or 2 of those mid-range attempts, turn them into a 3, you get closer to this 38, 39, 40 number that we saw tonight.
Well, and Devin actually took 7 because he got fouled
Yes.
on that one and face planted and then stuck his arms out like this. We already had a Devin meme in this. But yeah, I liked that they, in particular Devin, and then, some of the other guys, including Ryan Dunn, which I know we'll talk about later, weren't afraid to actually pull up and shoot those threes. I think these guys are seeing those boxes on the court in their sleep right now, that they know these are the areas that we got to shoot from to make Coach Bud happy. And I think they genuinely actually want to fulfill this system this year, where last year at times it didn't look like maybe they cared as much about playing within whatever the hell the system was, if there was one. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like you could probably point to a lot of reasons why last season looked a little bit off as far as like, was there even really one?
Yeah.
Was there a plan of action there? Or was it, we've got this big three, let them go do whatever they kind of want? It felt like that oftentimes. But I mean, you even look at some of these numbers, right? We finished 16 of 39, 41% from three. I would be very surprised if we saw many games this season where KD was 0 of 3 from deep or 3 of 10 from the field. Like, that's not something you're going to see from KD much at all once the regular season starts. And had he played, like they mentioned on the broadcast, EJ was saying the entire game, that would have flopped. Right. We would have seen that turn all the way around, and his numbers would have looked way better, even from deep as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the big three combined to shoot like 9 for 29 tonight. So they still have some things to work out. And I think if they'd have played more than 14 minutes each, they only played the first half, didn't play the second half, we would have seen them, kind of wear off some of that rust a little bit. But yeah, it's not something that I'm concerned about. I liked the process from Beal in terms of getting downhill. He didn't shoot the ball very well, did get to the foul line 6 times. And it's going to be a process for him off the ball because they had Tyus Jones. They played him off the ball some tonight. There's going to be some give and take in terms of who's running the offense and how that all is going to work. But I was encouraged by a lot of what I saw process-wise. Just having Booker and Durant screen more for each other, something we didn't see enough last year, that was another thing that I was like, okay, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to Bradley Beal, it wasn't a pretty night. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They're from an offensive standpoint. But I think part of it is he needs to get out of the I'm a distributor mindset because he got into the lane more than a handful of times and kind of hesitated from trying to score and was looking for something. I want aggressive Bradley Beal. I want that Bradley Beal that we saw in one of those Lakers games last year when he was fully healthy and he was dunking on guys. I want that aggressive Beal when he gets in the paint, and I think we'll get there, and that's when we're going to see the most out of him. That's when the Beal-assance will start, Nacho, all right? Is when we get Bradley Beal fully in that aggressive, I'm here to score mode. And I think we will get there as this preseason rounds out and as we get into the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. As I know there were many times in the beginning of the game where everyone was like, just shoot it. Just shoot it, Brad. Let it go. Let it fly. We're on board with this. Just shoot it. And then it kind of opened up a little bit more as the game went on.
Can we address one thing that I don't think we'll see a lot this season, but hope we do?
What is that?
Josh Okogie went 2 of 3 from deep.
Yeah.
You guys!
It's happening.
I know we don't talk about J.O. on this program, but it's warranted tonight. All right?
Was so fun to watch. Honestly, so good. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to be the jinx, but I'm so excited.
We love to see it.
We love to see it. Okay. That's all we're going to do. We're going to put a pin in that one. Right. We do have a couple of super chats here that I want to mention. Mark R. sent us one. Thank you, Mark. They said, love the way that Bud was using Book and Katie as screeners in the small ball lineup. Gerald, as you brought up. In general, it was awesome seeing the big three in actions with each other. Thank you, Mark. Thunder Stan also sent us one and said, Coach Bud did more looks and adjusting in one preseason game than Vogel did in an entire season.
But I was told Coach Bud doesn't adjust. So what am I supposed to believe, people?
So let's talk about that because we did get to see quite a few things that Coach Bud threw out at us tonight. We even got to see small ball lineup for a little bit.
We did. We saw Katie at the 5. We saw a look where Tyus Jones got subbed out first and Grayson came in. So we saw the big three with Grayson and a center out there and no traditional point guard, which is kind of what it was all of last year. So that's encouraging to me because in the normal starting lineup, if you sub out Tyus first and you bring in Grayson, you're going to get the same starting lineup that you had last year, which was really good in their time together. So I'm encouraged by that. We saw Katie at the 5. We saw a lot of different things that we only saw sparingly last year. So, it's the first preseason game. I'm sure he's experimenting and trying stuff out. So I don't know if there are like adjustments for this specific game, but it's good that he's already, rifling through all these different options that they can throw out there.
Well, we saw Dunn with the big three as well at one point, which I know people have talked about as a potential lineup they want to see. I like that he did mix and match, right? That's exactly what the preseason's for. See if you can build any chemistry between guys that maybe wouldn't usually be out there. So if you have to turn to a unique lineup, matchup based, you can, and you have a little bit of experience with it. He was willing to do that with Dunn, with the small ball lineups. We saw KD at 5 at one point, which I don't particularly want to see a lot. But when you don't have Nurk and you're trying to figure out things, I can respect that. So his willingness to look around and try to figure out, okay, what can we do with this group? I like, especially in preseason, because this is the time to experiment.
But see, that's the thing. Like, even if you don't really want to see it that often, it's not something that you want to really turn to unless it's break glass in case of an emergency. At least he's willing to try it out in the preseason to see what it could look like down the line if you do have to turn to it. Because how many times throughout just Suns history have we been like, can we just see this? Because nothing else is working. Can we just try it maybe? Because we would like to win this game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at least it feels like Bud is willing to do that as of now. And that might be a game one overreaction.
Right.
I don't care. I'm excited.
We're making
Feeling
full
good after this
judgments
one.
on Coach Bud.
I love him.
In 4 preseason quarters. Let's
Stamp
do
of
this.
approval.
Hang the
Let's
banner
go.
is what I'm hearing. Put the banners up. Plan
Best
the
coach in
parade.
Suns history, right? Is that what we're saying,
my
Eric?
goodness.
That's what everybody's saying. It's not just us.
That's
It's
what the
not.
Twitter streets are talking about. Is our
Listen,
friend
let yourself
Johnny
get excited.
Venom.
Thunder Stan even made another point, said Bud made 4th string adjustments. I am all caps encouraged.
That's what Gerald did last week, but we weren't here.
Oh.
Wow.
And what adjustments would those be?
Did you just throw shade?
Yeah.
Like hardcore.
You did.
Ouch, Espo.
Don't
Oh
listen
my
to him,
goodness.
Eric.
It's all just
Sorry,
fuel to the
Brendan
fire.
Clean.
All just fuel to the fire.
Oh my gosh. Anything else you guys saw tonight that stemmed from Coach Bud, without going into specific players that stemmed from Coach Bud, that was encouraging for you?
Yeah, I talked about it off the top, but I think there is a lighter nature to this. Not that they're not taking it serious, but that there's a feeling of, okay, this is different. I feel excited about this. And there's something to be said for that based on the way things played out last year. That second half of the season was rough to watch at times because it seemed like they weren't having fun, like they weren't bought in, that things just weren't going well. And I get it, one preseason game, and I know that media day is always rah, hey, look at that, everybody's happy, but it's not always the case. And I think you can really feel that it is the case right now, and you just hope that that carries through well into the season.
Yeah. I also like that we got to see everybody pretty much from top to bottom. Like, I know that's the expectation in preseason, but I like how much we were able to see of pretty much every single guy on the roster that we wanted to see.
I got to call out the chat. We got a lot of people in here and only 95 likes. I got to see this. I got to see this at 200 because I need to know you people are happy that Suns basketball is back, that Lindsay and I are back. Maybe not that one, but I need to know that you are amped for what is going on here. So hit that like button.
Hit that like button for Frank Kaminsky, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
So excited for this.
We'll get to that. Don't you worry.
Frank. Okay, on the other side, we're going to take a quick break, but on the other side, we're going to talk about the rookies. We'll be right back. All right, I do want to tell you guys all about our friends at Sanderson Ford. Sanderson Ford is a proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they're also a huge member of our community, not only just giving us really great vehicles at really good prices, but also supporting our community by looking into initiatives and donating to those initiatives that make our community even better. And we are proud to have Sanderson Ford as our official vehicle partner here at PHNX. And you can also get deals on the 2024 Ford Bronco Sport for 5.9% APR for 66 months plus $2,000. Must be financed through Ford Motor Credit, OAC. Also, they're asking that you help them celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with a Dia de los Muertos inspired truck to trunk or treat, close enough, at Sanderson Ford. You can see the dealership for more details, but don't miss out on the fun, and make sure you're also checking out all the other great cars and vehicles that they have to offer, including the F-150s, the Escapes, Edge, Explorers, Expeditions, and so much more.
My wife is in the chat, and she told me, you know what? If you take this job and you don't get to say the word boner, you have not taken the right job. And guess what? It's a Sunday night. And I
don't
get to say
believe
the
she
word
said that.
boner.
There's no way she
I
said
Our
don't
that.
believe
friends
she said
over
that.
at Blue Chew are here to help you out. There are many
Nope.
things that you can have on a Sunday night. But you know what? Our friends at Blue Chew are here to help you. Feel free to inject some humor, is what they told me. So I did that, because they say the first impressions are most important. And what about lasting impressions, though, right? You want a lasting impression. That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew helps boost your confidence in the bedroom so you can stay hard and perform at your very best. That's right. I read that. And I just got a text that my daughter's watching. So we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ALLCITY at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code ALLCITY to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast and making me have to answer a lot of questions with my family when I get home.
Unreal.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about the Suns rookies. Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro. Saw some great stuff from these guys here tonight. First and foremost, listen, you could pick either one, whichever one you want to start with, and it'll be fun. But I feel like we have to talk about Ryan Dunn and those threes.
Okay.
Like off the top. I know Oso did some really great things too. We will get there. But I was so excited when we saw Ryan Dunn hit that first wide open three. And it was just like, wait, hold on.
Right.
Are we here?
No.
Is this happening? Is this real life?
I mean, he knocked it down and he didn't even hesitate, which
No.
is the thing that I love. The stroke looked good. He was confident in shooting it. Honestly, throughout the night, near the end of the game, he was a little too confident. That last one that he took when he was 2 for 5, he missed one. He was kind of a little offset. Might have been a good situation where he could have pump fake and drove on that play. But like 2 for 6 overall, that's only 33%. But he was 2 for 5 before he took that ill-advised one kind of down the stretch there.
So it doesn't count.
And I'm encouraged by that. Like, again, we're not expecting this guy to come out and be a 40% shooter in his first game. But if he can just be somewhat respectable and not be someone that you just completely leave wide open, the defense is going to make an impact. He had some good possessions against LeBron in the post there, and he is a game changer in that respect. So I was encouraged by what I saw from him.
What are we talking about? I blanked out after that last ad. No,
Ryan Dunn.
Ryan Dunn. No, look, I very much, you guys know Saved by the Bell, you know, that that classic meme. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. That is my Ryan Dunn 3-point shooting experience. I am so excited to see this kid shoot in preseason because I so badly want them to go in like we saw on a couple occasions tonight. But when they're bad, I'm like, maybe I don't want to watch this as much as I did. I was encouraged tonight. There were the form, like we talked about, looks pretty good overall. I think it's consistency in the way he's shooting, the way the ball's coming off his fingers in the long term is going to determine how well he shoots. The free throw shooting still wasn't pretty, and like you talked about in your preview.
He needs to just switch up to a granny shot.
Well, but look, the thing is, Gerald brought it up in his preview that's an indicator too of how well a guy might be able to shoot from deep is how they shoot on free throws. So I think there's still work to be done there, but I was encouraged, no pun intended, but I was encouraged about where it felt like he was to start this at least. There's glimmers of hope on that front, but he was all over the floor tonight. I know I'm not a huge plus-minus guy. In fact, I hate it, but I will give him credit. He was plus 11 tonight, which kind of shows how active he was on the court, even though he was only 2 of 6 from deep.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I'm really encouraged by Ryan Dunn because I think a lot of what we had talked about was the form doesn't look bad, right? So it might be a little bit of confidence building within that area. So in your first preseason game, to have no hesitation and be confident enough to just let it fly, I think that speaks volumes to what he's being told behind the scenes and the trust that his coaching staff is putting in him to give him the green light to go out there and shoot the ball. Yeah. And I think that's really positive. Plus, we already knew that it was going to take a little bit of time. Okay. But if he can knock down 1 or 2 a game, I'm very happy with that to start with.
And I think for him, and this is something that he talked about in my season preview over at gophnx.com that I did over the weekend, it's a matter of reps, and he's getting all of the reps right now, but it's also a matter of confidence. And you don't get that confidence until you've put in the time and the effort, and it feels like a practice shot in real life games. And that is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen over one offseason. It might not even happen over the course of his first year in the NBA, but he is a hard worker. He's a diligent worker. We keep hearing that from the Suns front office, coaches, players. They are so impressed with his work ethic, with Oso's intelligence, with how ready they are at this stage. And I think tonight was an encouraging glimpse of what all of these people have been talking about.
Yeah. So we have a super chat here asking if Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro are the new real twins. They kind of look more like twins than Mikal and Cam. That came from Charles Peterson. Thank you, Charles.
They are calling themselves the triplets, Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, and Jalen Bridges. They're referring to themselves as the triplets now. So
I feel like we should roll with the triplets and just let the twins be like in the past.
Their own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they may
Right?
be separated for part of the season. One in Tempe, other two in Phoenix. But yeah, look, triplets, you earn a nickname, and I'm sorry, one preseason game and some summer league action doesn't earn you a nickname. You guys can have fun. You guys can call yourselves whatever you want together. But in terms of this program and in terms of the fan base, earn it.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think
Yeah.
who died and made you boss
who comes back grumpy from a vacation, right?
I believe that was Saul who
of this show?
again.
No. If we want to make a nickname, we're gonna make a nickname, but we'll put a pin in it for
Not
now.
the new boss on a power trip.
I know, right? Jeez. All right.
He's throwing shots like every single show.
Yeah.
Usually Ryan Dunn, I'm just gonna take all my shots in the preseason.
We're not
Good.
greenlighting that. We're giving you the stop sign.
And like Ryan Dunn, you're hitting on 1 out of every 3.
Oh,
What's
Bird.
Nailed
new?
it.
We know that. Mid-season 4.
Let's talk about Oso Ighodaro. He finished with 12 points tonight. He did have 3 turnovers, but he had 1 block, 1 steal, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 6 of 8 from the field. Filled up the box.
It's so fun watching him play, especially because that was the season preview that came out today. And if you go and watch the video, a lot of the pocket passes that he was making at Marquette and in Summer League are exactly what we saw tonight. There was that one backdoor pass to Colin Gillespie for a layup in the 4th quarter, I think. And you just knew it was coming because of the high basketball IQ that's on display when he's out there, when he's at the elbows, when he's at the top. He is a fantastic connector. He is way smarter than a rookie probably should be. And I'm not going to overreact to anything in terms of who's going to be where in the rotation, like him versus Mason Plumlee. But Oso was really impressive. He looks NBA ready. And if there is an injury, and maybe even if there isn't an injury, I think he's going to offer enough at some point in the season to get a serious look
100%.
in Bud's rotation.
Put Oso straight into my veins. I am ready for this guy to play important basketball for this team at some point this year because he's smart. We talked about the basketball IQ. We all saw the video online where he was calling out plays that were going to happen in clips he's never seen before. We saw his instinct on display at Summer League and in clips from Marquette. But you saw it tonight with the big boy uniform on, out there with guys that will play in this league, playing against them, made the smart passes, was really great on the lob, which we had heard, but it was great to see. The push shot, a little hit or miss tonight, but I might not need him to be able to spread the floor or hit a jumper if he's doing the smart things like he was and setting good screens, putting bodies on guys, and being able to make the right read. Because this team is going to need high IQ play at times and stretches, especially with that bench and being able to be a little versatile. I like what he brought. I'm not saying he's going to be the starting center. I'm not saying he's going to be the backup center necessarily, but he will play minutes this year just because of that IQ, hands down. I don't think there's any argument that he'll see the floor at some point this year just because of that fact. Yeah,
and him and Colin Gillespie had fantastic chemistry out there tonight. I think you'll see that kind of grow with some other guys on the squad too. When it comes to Oso, Juan in the chat said Oso's vision is insane and that he thinks his IQ is through the roof. And I think that's what sets him aside. And that's why I think, Gerald, it's not crazy to say that Oso Ighodaro could play a big role on this team later on in the season. It's going to take a little bit of time. Like he is still a rookie.
Right.
But I think he has the potential to become really incredibly valuable for this squad. I also love that he brings a little bit of a lob threat for us too. Like that's something a little different that we don't really have.
Yeah, and then I think that's something that hasn't been talked about enough because Nurk is more ground bound. We know that he struggles to finish at the rim. Mason has been a lob threat for most of his career, but he's also 34 coming off an injury-riddled season, so you don't know necessarily that that's going to translate. Ighodaro has the most bounce by far out of those three, and you saw it on display multiple times tonight. There was that one that D. Lee threw that you felt for a second he might have thrown a little too far, and Oso went up and got it, no problem. So between the playmaking that he brings that Nurk and Mason also bring, he's a good screen setter. He's a smart roller. He had that one short roll pass out to Ryan Dunn for three, the second three that Dunn made. So I really like his ability to just plug up some of the holes. We talked about this after Summer League about how don't worry about his basic box stats because what he does is going to translate so much better when he's surrounded by the talent that the Suns have, that the NBA has. And I think we saw that tonight.
Yeah. We have a couple super chats here. Dale sent us one and they said, we all love overreactions, but Oso looks all caps ready.
He did.
Love it.
He absolutely did.
I don't think that's a surprise to people in that building because you don't aggressively move up like they did in the second round to go after a guy like that and also claim you would have considered him in the first if other guys, if Ryan Dunn in particular hadn't fallen to you. They have a massive belief in this kid, and I don't think they're surprised in any way, shape, or form that he looks ready.
No, they're not at all. But it's one of those things where on the outside, we don't know until we get to see it. Because like even think back to last year, Wemby had a terrible first Summer League game and people were calling him a bust. So it's like no matter where you're drafted, no matter who you are, you have to come in here and prove it. And especially for a second round rookie, like he came in and he did that tonight. So just keep that rolling, and hopefully we'll get to see more of it as the season goes on.
Yes. All right, we got a couple more super chats here. Matthew sent us one. Thank you, Matthew. They said, used to be go-to tech reviews, now and on the OG account. Don't read too much into starters in preseason. It's all about the rookies and bench, and they looked fire.
Matthew, go back to go-to tech reviews. I loved saying that name.
I know.
And I was hoping for tech reviews.
But I'm
Let
glad that
him
we
be
now have
him.
a
Let
face.
Matthew be
Yeah.
Matthew.
Yeah, we have a
Thank
face
you for
and
being
a
here,
name
Matthew.
to the person. Appreciate you.
I want
man.
your
Come
tech
on,
reviews now, Matthew.
Omar sent us one as well. Thank you, Omar. They said, Colin over Monty for backup point guard. Eyeball emoji, eyeball emoji, eyeball emoji.
Oh, give me all the overreactions. I live off of these.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere near that. But I will say, Colin was great tonight.
Yes.
Like that kid is a hooper, and you can tell. And we talked about that in our season previews last week. Like this kid is too good for the G League, and if he can find a role, or if the Suns can just keep him and continue developing him, I think he will be a player in time.
Yeah, I also do feel a little bit bad for him because I don't remember, was he right before Monte Morris or right after?
Right
Yeah,
before.
so like I think the hope was that there would be maybe a little more opportunity. Then you got Morris, now you got Jones, and it's like, well, sorry about that.
The kid's not short on confidence.
He's not.
I mean, remember at Summer League how confident he was that I will get minutes this year. Granted, that was before Tyus, obviously. But I still think he winds up getting minutes with the health history of the guards on this roster. I think he'll see some time and turn some heads for sure.
And he's approaching it the right way too, because when we talked to him at Summer League, I had asked him about that, about the fact that when he signed, there were no point guards, and then they added two. And he was saying, like, it doesn't change my approach. If anything, I can learn from these two because they've been in the league for so long, because they're both undersized guards like me. I can kind of pick their brains and see what they've been able to do to stick in this league. So that is encouraging that he's got the right mindset. And he clearly has the confidence, like Espo said, that he belongs in this league.
Yeah, Lucas sent us a super chat and said, my favorite part was Gillespie waving off Bronny's shot he made while Reeves committed an offensive foul. Laughing face emoji.
But Papa, why did Hillbilly Kobe get my shot taken away, Papa? Can't you talk to the refs, Papa?
I'm glad we brought that back.
Are we? Actually, yeah, I am.
I'm a little glad,
I
yeah.
got him enjoying
It's
it.
Papa,
I did.
Papa, why am I in the G League playing the Valley Suns? It's November. I should be with you, Papa.
All right. We are going to talk about some of the other guys on this Sun squad that we saw great things from tonight. But first, a quick break. To remind you that if you are in the market for a new floor, our friends at Empire Today are here to help you out. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guaranteed. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. And my favorite thing about them is the floor visualizer that you can find at empiretoday.com/PHNX, so that you can see exactly what the flooring looks like in your own space. Because I think that's the hardest part about finding and picking out new floorings for your home is like, what is it actually going to look like when it comes in here? Well, with the floor visualizer, you can take the guesswork out of it. And that's why I love Empire Today. It's no guessing. They're complete pros. They've got everything you need. And right now you can schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when you use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details.
Papa, I'm not at the Lakers anymore, but I want to see you play. Papa, how can I get tickets? Papa. All right, Bronny, I can tell you where you can get tickets. Our friends at Game Time will get you into a Lakers game this season while you're with the whatever Lakers, what is it, the South Bay Lakers, the G League team. So. While you're there, we can get you in to the big stadium, my friend, with our friends at Game Time. They'll take care of you, and their Game Time Picks filter is going to make sure that you can actually see Papa out there on the court, all right? They take out all the bad tickets that you don't want to deal with, all the fluff, all the bad priced, and none of this stuff, none of the noise. They get you right to the tickets that you want with their Game Time filter. It's that easy. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem a code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time! Boom! Right on time.
Look at you go, Espo. All right, guys. We got a super chat from Alec, and they said D. Lee moving up in the rotation after tonight. I don't know, Alec, but all I do know is that Damion Lee is our big, bright, shining star.
Big, bright, shining star.
Yes,
he finished tonight with 10 points. He was 2 of 3 from deep, plus 13. D. Lee, listen, Damion Lee is one of those guys that you can't dislike. And if you do, it's on you.
Yes.
Like, that's your problem, not his. So it was so good to see him back out there getting to play basketball again and knocking down threes like he always did before his injury.
Yeah, I mean, it was his first NBA game in any capacity since May 11th, 2023. Thursday will actually be a year to the day since he got out of surgery. We're going to be talking about him tomorrow more in depth on the pod for our season previews, but it's really nice to see a guy like that with the perspective that he has, with the work ethic that he has, who has been through so many different injuries in his career, get the chance to just do what he loves again. Like, I know a lot of people in the offseason probably forgot that we had D. Lee or aren't expecting much of him because he's missed a whole year, but the guy can shoot threes, and he's a great, not just great, fantastic locker room guy. And you need all of those things. So I was really happy for him that he was able to go out there and not just go out there, but play really well too. Like, he missed his first shot and then he was hitting floaters. He was hitting his threes. And you know that the locker room just loves that and responds to that.
Man, you can't help but root for a good guy. And D. Lee brings that joy, brings that excitement to the game. It reminds you why you enjoy watching, right? And I don't think that's hyperbole. I really do think a guy like that with the joy and the excitement is why basketball is so much fun. And what I liked was he wasn't afraid. There was not hesitation. He went out there, got in the lane at times, shot those threes. It didn't look like there was a whole heck of a lot of rust either. I mean, shooting 4 or 6 in 10 minutes. I mean, he wasn't shy either.
No.
So it's still the D. Lee that we saw a couple years ago. And, when he gets his opportunity, he's going to hit those shots. It's just how much opportunities is he going to be able to find on this roster. And I think that's the biggest question. And preseason, he's going to get his opportunities. If he keeps hitting like this, it's going to be tough for Bud to ignore, especially with how much he wants to shoot from deep, because D. Lee can do that and can do that in volume.
Yeah. Yes. It's hard to envision a role for him specifically right now, just because you look at the 2 spot, like Book is obviously normally a 2. They've got Beal, they've got Grayson Allen, they've got Josh Okogie, and they've got D. Lee. It's hard to see where he would get his minutes and all of that. But if there's an injury, or if you just need more 3-point shooting, because we know this team wants to get up more threes, and he continues to prove himself like he did tonight in the preseason and training camp, you just never know.
He could be, I don't want to get into this, but I'm going to get into it. He could be your Grayson insurance too. If you decide you have to make a move for some kind of piece, and Grayson's the logical chip, if D. Lee can hit at a high enough clip, he could be a guy that fills some of that 3-point need if necessary, which is a lot to put on a guy coming back from injury, but we also saw how well he could shoot from deep. So, I mean, Walmart Grayson Allen, maybe. So.
Thunder in the chat said, was his plus minus the highest on the team? Yes, plus 13 was a team high for plus minus. And then Amelia also mentioned the walk-off interview on the Suns broadcast. Yes. You can't help. She said she was like tearing up around it. And I feel like so was D. Lee almost a little bit. It felt like there was a little bit of emotion there. And I really appreciated that openness. Plus, you got a little Bradley Beal at the beginning, hyping him up, talking about how his hands were a little sweaty on the bus ride over, just feeling a little bit of jitters.
It's because it's 114 in Palm Desert. Everybody's palms are sweaty.
I get that. But also, I think it's, I don't know. It just gives you, that's the thing with D. Lee. Like, I don't think he's ever afraid to let you in on like the personal side of things. And when you coming back from an injury that was as big that he had to deal with for the last year, like it's a lot mentally to have to go through too. And then you have to build up the trust in yourself, in your body, to be able to hopefully get back to exactly where you were prior to the injury. Like, that's a long journey. And so even though it's a preseason game, even though it doesn't really mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, it's got to have like boosted his confidence levels, that in his first game back, seeing the ball go through the hoop in the way that it did before, that's got to be really good for him.
Well, yeah, they say those injuries, as severe as his was and how many setbacks, that's a lot just mental. When you come back, trusting that knee, believing that you can actually do some of the things that you used to and not be afraid to do it. And you did not see that kind of rust or hesitation, which I thought we probably would. It's just human nature after going through that to be a little hesitant. And he didn't seem to have that. And that's extremely encouraging.
Yeah. All right. Another super chat here. This one is from Junior. They said, I know it's just preseason game, but we won a fourth quarter. What a great start for the 24-25 season, tired of those self-inflicted losses last year.
As Gerald told you in one of his videos, you don't have to worry about the fourth quarter likely. It may have been just more of a fluke than anything. And congratulations, Gerald. We're through one game and you're correct.
Hey-o.
1 for 1.
Leo also sent us one. Thank you, Leo. They said, welcome back, Lindsay and Espo. Espo, what would you rate Eric's Nookie Monster ad read from last week?
I'd tell you, but we don't have 200 likes, and I heard the rule is that. Ooh. So none of you get to hear my opinion on Eric's Nookie Monster until we get to 200 likes.
They're all taking the likes away.
No.
Negative likes.
Well, that's because they heard what you did? I don't know.
No, they just don't want to hear your opinion on it.
Okay, give me them 200 likes.
Well, we'll give you a little bit of time to get those likes rolling in here while we talk a little bit about Tyus Jones. So Tyus Jones finished tonight with 9 points, 1 steal, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. He was 3 of 3 from deep and 3 of 4 from the field. First look at Tyus. How you guys feeling about him?
Rumors are true. The Phoenix Suns do, in fact, have a starting point guard.
Yes.
They do. They do. And the good thing was, I think, honestly, yes, he got 6 assists, but early in the game, they were functioning quite a bit with him off the ball. And we got to see, especially as the game went on, him be aggressive as a scorer and as a 3-point shooter, which was fun to see. Like, all of his points were from behind the 3-point line. So I was encouraged by that. I would like to see more. You know, obviously he only played 19 minutes tonight, but yeah, I really liked it. You know, he's still in preseason form, clearly by the 1 turnover. That'll come down to 0 for the most part. But no, he was.
It doesn't count. Again, it's
it doesn't count. So he was great. I liked seeing some of the different things that they were doing with him on the ball, with him off the ball. I just want to keep seeing more. Yeah,
I mean, 6 assists in 19 minutes while you were playing off the ball for a portion of that time is what we thought with this guy. You're going to get assists out of him. Yeah. But, you know, we talked about him being a threat from deep, but it was good to see that tonight because that adds yet another wrinkle in all this because you can't ignore him in any way, shape, or form at any point in the offense. So who are you leaving open? Yeah. You know, who are you not double teaming in a situation where maybe you need to? Like what happens? Because again, another gravity guy, right? And then a guy that can pick apart even the tiniest mistake you make. Tonight was extremely encouraging from what we saw with Tyus, and I think it just builds and gets better when you look at what he does with the big three, because he's going to just get that chemistry with them over time, because really a week, 2 weeks that he's been playing with these guys in any kind of semblance of play. So I feel pretty good about what you saw in night one.
Yeah, I'm excited for Tyus Jones, and I'm excited to see just even more of what he can do as far as impact goes with this Suns team. Anybody else?
Yeah.
You want to talk about Frank?
Yeah. What, we really were going to try to get out of here without talking about Frank?
I would never.
Yeah, you were.
I would never. I'm so excited for Frank. I was on vacation when the news came through, but I'm extremely happy for Frank Kaminsky and the Suns, and hopefully this is a good marriage for them again. Because I feel bad because Frank got hurt, but he was so valuable for us. Plus, he's just a really good teammate. He's a good guy. He's easy to root for as a fan. So
I'm going to say it. The bad, I hate number 47. It looks wrong. So Grayson, give up number 8 right now.
Oh, Jesus.
All right?
Give it back,
I need the 8 back to Frank to feel all right. But overall, man, Kaminsky Cove is back, baby!
Hey-o.
Let the party begin!
Oh, we're so back.
Oh, it is.
So bad.
The beach is beautiful. The water's warm. Frank is ready for that 15th roster spot. He was 2 of 3 tonight, 1 of 1 from 3. He's hitting the long ball that you need him. He's the stretch center that you want. 2 rebounds, an assist. He looked good on defense, a +7. The man is a machine, all right? 8 minutes of just beautiful basketball. Frank, we love having you back in the Valley. Let's make it a long stay, all right?
I mean, what more could you ask for? Let's be honest.
Hey, Ted Offensive, get stuffed. Said Frank looks slow. I don't have high hopes he's making the team. Well, I don't have high hopes that you're going to last in this chat very long, Ted. All right?
Don't believe him, Ted.
Yeah.
I got you. You're good.
I mean, it's in his name, offensive. Like, what were you expecting?
Exactly.
But no, Frank looked good. He looked good. He looked a little like he was trying to get acclimated on the defensive end because there were some quicker guys out there that he got switched onto on the perimeter. But you forget that he's like a legit 7-footer sometimes. I think he was big out there. He had a couple of good plays, couple of buckets, hit that 3. It's what you want to see out of him. He's not going to get maybe a ton of opportunities in preseason, but in 8 minutes to have 5 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Yeah, he was good.
Here's my thing too. Like, you got an open spot. It's just a couple $1 million. That's literally like $10 to Matt Ishbia.
I believe with the tax, it's like $45 million, though, if I know my math correctly, right? A vet minimum costs you $45 million in the second apron.
Sure, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I was like, that seems like a lot. Okay, so it's like $20 to Matt Ishbia. Oh my God, whatever.
Hey, if you're new to the program, I'm always gonna be a Frank Kaminsky stan. All right, it just happens. Deal with it. This is my time to shine with Frank in the preseason. I don't know how long we have with him, so I'm gonna hold on to it for dear life, like some float in the middle of Kaminsky Cove, so I don't drown in my own love for him. All right.
Listen, Espo, Fabio has your back. Said tanks are supposed to be slow, but they're unstoppable.
Thank you.
That is true, Fabio.
Thank you.
That is true.
There you go. I'm just saying. There you go.
Meatloaf, you can buy stock in Kaminsky and land in Kaminsky Cove. At Espo is where you can pick it up.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right.
Why did anybody think we weren't going to have that moment in this show?
Course
Oh, we had to have that moment. But can
you got somebody you want to
we got to talk about our leading scorer of the night.
Oh, okay, fine.
Like J.O. He was great out there.
But
I know we
don't want to
mentioned
jinx it.
No, it's not even just the 3-point shooting. It was the aggression. It was the way that he attacked. That one kick that Oso had to the corner, and he had that nice reverse layup. He had a couple of drives where he, made the assist to Oso, I think, for a dunk. Like, he was really good. And for him to come in 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals in 16 minutes, 6 of 9 shooting. Like, I know that people have their issues with J.O. They have their concerns about the 3-point shooting. And I think that those will probably rear their head at some point in the season. But there is a place for his point of attack defense still. There is a place for what he does on the offensive glass, for the way that he drives. So hopefully I liked that he didn't hesitate on any of his threes either. Like, we saw that so many times last year where he would like think about it and then maybe not take it and swing it and be a complete non-threat. So he's not always going to shoot 2 for 3 from 3, but as long as he shoots it with aggression and at least presents himself as a threat, that's all you could ask for.
We've broken the rule twice tonight.
No.
We don't talk about JOO.
Lucas
have
says
to
it's
talk about
preseason,
J.O.
so it's fine.
It doesn't
but
count?
I feel I don't want
All
to do
right.
it because I
All
feel
right.
like it was.
No.
Listen,
the thing is, you
I don't
can't
think-
use that phrase.
I
You
get
can't
that.
use
I
the
mean,
phrase.
But I
Ever.
didn't use it again last year. Other people did, but I still got the blame for it. So
You
now
started
I'm
it.
just like super hesitant.
Mhm.
Like
We didn't say the phrase, though.
the other people did.
Let me.
I didn't see it.
There are no other people, Lindsay. It's just us. Let me
Quick, look out behind you.
Papa, where did they go?
No, I said. Well, I mean, yeah.
But
whatever.
look, what I liked about him was he was aggressive in every facet, not just in shooting the three
Yeah.
and not, but defensively going to the rim. Like at times we saw hesitation across his game last year, right?
Yeah.
And did not see that tonight. And the chat's mentioning it, but I think he is a guy that knows he's fighting for a roster spot and even a potential job. Like he's not kidding himself. He understands why he got $8 million and what that could mean
Right.
in the long term if he doesn't show up. And I think he's playing with that mindset and did tonight.
Yeah. I'm excited for him. I hope things are a little bit better this season. But for all of them, honestly. And I think a lot of it is going to come back to just having fun again.
Mhm.
Like that's such a big and underrated part of all of this, I think, that we're going to end up talking about throughout the season. Like the more fun you're having, the easier it will be to win games.
King Nacho wants you to know that will get you a first round exit. Having fun.
Well,
As did not having fun last year.
I would rather get swept in the first round after having fun for a couple months than being miserable and then getting swept in the first round. But,
I'm shocked that Nacho doesn't like fun.
Okay. That's it for me. You guys good?
No, we have not talked about. I'm good. I got nobody else.
The Suns won their first preseason game, 118-114 over the Lakers. It was awesome. We had fun. We understand it's still preseason and we're not trying to overreact here, but also we're going to let ourselves overreact here a little bit because why not? It's fun.
Mhm.
And when preseason is over and the regular season starts, maybe we'll switch things up. Maybe we won't. I don't know. I guess you're just going to have to hang out and stay tuned to find out. But thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. Be sure to give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Suns. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you're here with us on YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And of course, check out all of Gerald's articles. He's doing previews for every single guy. Some of them are already up over at gophnx.com. You can also follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. And you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
My overreaction, Oso Ighodaro, Rookie of the Year. My family's overreaction, the fact that I have to go explain what a boner is. Ahoy hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.